can remember. And of course, being Mormon, we could never drink coffee. Like, that was a huge no-no.
Right.
So it probably wasn't until I got to be in my 20s. I was married at the time, late 20s, and I started to order coffee ice cream. Which cracks me up because several people gave me grief about drinking or eating coffee ice cream because I was told it has just as much caffeine as coffee has. Which is true. If it's made with coffee, it's going to have the elements of what's in coffee. That's the point, right? So I guess I could say my gateway into coffee was coffee ice cream. And then after years of having that occasionally when I didn't feel too guilty about eating coffee ice cream, and well, fast forward many years into my 30s when I finally thought, I'm an adult and I can try drinking coffee if I want to. I started with McDonald's iced coffee. And I'm even embarrassed to say this because I feel like that was such the hold that the church had over me, is to feel so guilty if I drank coffee. And so I would go to the McDonald's drive-thru, incognito with my sunglasses on, in Provo, Utah. And I would get my iced coffee. And I would drink it and love every minute of it. And I don't think at that point I felt guilty anymore, but I still felt that I needed to keep it a secret because I felt like I couldn't let my family know, which kills me because it's not that big of a deal for an adult person to go get themselves a cup of coffee. But I felt so, because it had been ingrained in me for so long that I'm not supposed to drink coffee, I had just guilt that came with it. So I shouldn't say I didn't feel guilty, that I didn't completely not feel guilty. If I didn't completely feel guilty, I guess I would have, not felt I had to do it in secret. But I guess I was still worried that who might be offended or who might be shocked or how I could let the cat out of the bag that mom's drinking coffee. So for probably a good 6 months to a year, I would drink coffee in secret. So because I felt like I needed to drink my coffee in secret, I always made sure that all evidence was put away before I got home. So even though I was drinking it in my car, I'd make sure I found a trash can before I pulled in. And make sure that it just wasn't known. That's how rebellious I was. It kills me now, but going through it was that big of a deal to me. For some people, that even in the church, that might not seem as a big of a deal. But to me, I felt like I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. At least by the tenets of the church, I'm not supposed to drink coffee. So. Because I didn't want my kids to see it. I didn't want my husband to see it. So I was pretty much drinking iced coffee in the closet. Which cracks me up now, but I was so scared of being caught at the time that I was going to get in trouble.
What would happen?
What would happen? Now, well, drinking coffee is against the word of wisdom.
Right.
And the word of wisdom is a health code, which is actually not a terrible health code to live by. But today I'm just talking about coffee, so I'll stick with that. And if you are not abiding by the word of wisdom, you can't have a temple recommend. A temple recommend is required to get into the temple.
So what were you afraid of?
So I was afraid of, I guess, being caught and feeling so guilty that I might have to confess the fact that I've drank coffee. Because that's how strongly I believed in the principles of what I was taught to do And now I know there are many people who drink coffee, alcohol, other things like that, and they don't think it's that big of a deal. But the way I was raised and what I took very seriously was that you just don't drink coffee.
Well, you obey the rules.
I obey the rules, and I was a very good obeyer. Anyway, it's funny now thinking back to my gateway into I still drink iced coffee, but now I'm not sitting in my car throwing my cup away before I get home because I might get in trouble. Not that I get in trouble when I got home. I guess my guilt was overwhelming to myself. Like if anyone else knew, you know. So I wasn't really doing anything wrong. And by the world standards, like really? Coffee? A friend of mine just the other day said, I cannot believe that you never drank coffee till you were 38 years old. You know, like, how could you be missing out on the goodness that is coffee? And now I agree with that. I love coffee. And I know there's health controversies today of, you know, stay away from coffee, but I stayed away from it for long enough. I think now I've given myself permission to drink hot or cold coffee and coffee ice cream with no guilt.